I'm actually in U.S. West now. I'm just south of Kev. I'm down in San Diego. So it's been
All
a
right.
couple crazy weeks moving all around. So now I'm quarantining out here for a while, working remotely.
Nice. You moved or you're it's temporary?
Just here temporarily, yeah. And then yeah, I'm not sure like when I'll head back to the East Coast again, but it's just nice to kind of escape the fall. It's starting to get much colder over there.
Oh yeah. It won't
So
happen here.
my family has been on the heat. I know, yeah. It's been sunny and quite humid for a while. I came just as the fires were starting too, so that was exciting to fly into.
Yeah, I could imagine just seeing that from the air. Oh,
At
those
least.
are like pyrocumulonimbus. Yeah.
Yeah, what's it like
Man.
now? How's the air quality
Yeah.
now?
It's better, yeah. It's I think more north is where it's still an issue. Like here, they've managed to contain it. It was a much smaller region, I guess, out east from us that they were able to tame. But I think up more like Northern California, Oregon, parts of Washington, I think are still not doing very well. And it's very humid this weekend, so I think that's going to make matters worse. It's quite hot, so it's hard to contain the fire.
It's LA is doing decently well right now, but yeah, up north it's raging.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In India, it is just raining right now. I mean, not everywhere in India, but sometimes it might rain, sometimes it doesn't. So can't predict
Yeah.
Wow.
anything.
Is
Is it monsoon season? Like when does that start? It's pretty soon, right?
It's not actually. I have no clue what monsoon is actually like in India because it differs from region to region. And in the north, there are floods going on right now, and in the south, it hardly rains. That's how it is.
Oh
Right.
wow. What part of India are you in?
South India.
Oh, you're in South.
Yeah, I'm the south. Yeah,
Nice.
south is near to the equator, so it's hot.
It's hot. Yeah, I
Yeah,
would
it's
imagine.
hot.
I would imagine all year round is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just started to get cold here in the UK, which I'm actually quite happy about because this year was quite hot. So I'm finally enjoying
Yeah.
being able to like not have the fan on at night, which is nice.
Wow.
In terms of Blender, I just put out a video today actually about sculpting sculpting performance improvements. Did any of you see about that?
I haven't seen
I
that
did.
yet.
I haven't seen that yet, but I saw the sculpt that you did in the chat a couple days ago. It looked awesome.
Yeah.
I was really
Thank you.
impressed with that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Very.
It's been like.
It's been a while.
What did you think about the
They kind of like drag
sculpting
in.
tools now? Is it easy for you to use Blender sculpting now? Like than before? It's been like 6 months before, right? You did your previous sculpting.
Yeah, it's been a long time since. Yeah, it definitely feels different now. There's something about it that's smoother, but I have noticed a few little quirks. Like as you're making large changes over the surface, sometimes triangles turn black, but if you like smooth it over, it's perfectly fine. So there's a little bit of a graphical bug there. But the actual way that the brushes flow over the surface feels different to how it was like on the late 2.7 versions, which is nice. But about the performance improvements, Pablo DeBarro on Twitter shared a comparison. He basically said that he was going to try and rewrite how the sculpting mode works from the ground up. And so he had like the old version on the left and the new version on the right, like a prototype, and he's using a laptop on, so it's a high poly sculpt, and the difference is crazy. So on the left, it's like lagging all over the place as he's drawing, and on the right, it's like almost perfectly smooth, millions of triangles. And we're like, wow, like we didn't know that was possible. So apparently he's working on that. That's going to be cool.
It's going into ZBrush territory.
Yeah.
It seems to be. Yeah. I've caught up on Twitter like late last night, and then I saw that you put out an announcement that you had a new video or something, and then there was another thing, and I saw the ZBrush looking stuff, and then I passed out and I was trying to sleep in this morning, so I haven't seen anything. Like I hit render, so I got to check that, but crazy, man.
Yeah, the amount of work that's being put into the sculpting mode is mad.
Yeah.
I remember just as 2.8 was becoming a thing, I think Zacharias Reinhardt tried to put together like a group or like a proposal for a sculpt quest. I can't remember what he called it, but it was to focus on the sculpting mode, and they came up with all these ideas of what to do, and like they got a group of like artists together, and then like shortly after that Pablo comes in and just like wipes the floor with everything, and he's just like, well, this is useless now. But it's good though, because like it's exactly what so many people wanted. So It's really good to have it around now.
As you said, like the person who uses sculpting, and if you know like how to develop the sculpting tools, it's more benefit for the
Yeah.
community actually, because he would know what he wants in the sculpting tools basically.
Yeah, exactly. From a user experience perspective, like if you're making the tools that you want to use, that's a lot better rather than
Yeah.
just like making them for a theoretical end user. So yeah, that's really
Yeah.
good.
The same thing is happening with the nodes as well, you know, like before the new math functions were there. I think when Simon joined the Blender, he know what all math nodes he has to, has to be there. Like even the smooth step function in the map range, all
Yeah.
these small functions, basically speeds up the whole process. Or else we have to recreate the functions from scratch, which is kind of time consuming.
Yeah.
Time consuming.
So actually, I have a question about that. If there was a node for them to add that you want, what would it be?
Yeah. Ray marching, obviously. There's like one setup for ray marching, a number of iterations, like a slider. And also we have, I think that's the main thing which I have in my brain. And we could add more presets just like shapes, you know. I'm basically releasing a shapes pack soon. But then I wish there was like a shape generator inside Blender action, like in the nodes. And like, just like Substance Designer has.
Yeah.
To get inspiration, I'm actually looking at Substance Designer videos just to see how the workflow is and stuff. I'm able to recreate few of them, but then not everything.
Oh man.
The tile sampler is something which is really powerful. If that can be implemented in Blender in somehow, that's going to be everything.
So
Wow.
you say you're putting out a shapes pack. Is that going to be on Gumroad?
Yeah, it's going to be on Gumroad for a couple of bucks because it's highly versatile. Like you can start building something something cool just by arranging shapes as much as you want. Like you can do sci-fi stuff with it because it's just I think the previously I released this pack called Checkers texture, but then Checkers 2.0, where you it's the same Checkers texture but more functionality. Like it can have rounded corners and radially it can offset in directions and stuff.
Cool.
So it is more used in sci-fi. But when I use a little more math to those shapes functions which I have, we can build really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll share. I think I'll share something in the chat. You can see it later.
Yeah.
Awesome.
At the end of the day, everything is basically built out of simple patterns, right? So
yeah, it is.
layer by layer. So I think that'll be cool. Cool field.
Yeah, you had
to
that
play
one
with.
video. One video where you took an algorithm and you broke it down and you like put it, node by node by node by node, and then you like got like a heart pattern or something. I remember it was like, I was
that's
like,
the first one. That's actually.
Yeah.
I was like, this is awesome. Like nothing exists for videos like that. Don't exist yet. Like
Yeah.
I was like, I've been waiting for stuff like that because I'm like, it's like one of those areas that I want to do a deep dive in, and I'm like, I just don't have the time right now, and I'm like, I'm not,
Yeah.
I can't teach this because I barely know it myself. So like seeing that was like, this is the coolest thing ever because I'm like, I can use it in at work now in Houdini, and it's just awesome. Or I can use it in Blender for freelance. It's just great.
Yeah.
So like having
it's just
what's that?
I was saying it's just a math equation which I found online for the heart,
Mhm.
and just try to recreate with nodes.
Yeah.
And at the time, I don't actually remember the math. I mean, because it's such a huge equation, I couldn't remember it.
Yeah.
But then now, when I look at it, I can actually say, okay, because it's a straight line, to make it bend, I have to do some power function which actually bends it. Like I know what function does what at what range, so I can have more control over the shape of the heart right now.
Yep.
So I mean, I can think like that because I started using nodes for quite a while.
Yeah.
And RGB curves is more better than math functions because you can quickly do the shaping functions with RGB curve, and it's pretty amazing actually. Like RGB curves can actually replace like some 100 nodes at the same time, if at all, if you want to build the same shape with math.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Before that video, that heart one, I never thought about recreating equations in the node.
I know, me either.
In the shader graph. I was like, that makes so much sense now. Like when you actually piece it, when you break it down and piece it together, you're like, oh yeah, damn.
It was more like when I saw the live stream on Simon Thomas' video, he was like, it's just math. Like it is just an equation. It's just polar coordinates. You can build with polar coordinates. I was like, how can you actually implement polar coordinates? And when he said like you have x, y, z when you separate them, I was like, if you have 3 variables, then obviously you can build equations with it. And
Yeah.
that's how it struck me, and that's actually how I started my YouTube channel. That's the first video basically, and Curtis loved it. I was like, yeah.
That's good.
And because of his retweet, the whole channel grew like this.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was it's a great. I mean, it was great videos. Like I watched that and I was like, I want more and more and more of these because they were like the best. I was like, this is just incredibly useful to me at this moment. Like
Yeah.
I work with people who can do that, and I'm like, I need to do that. I need to step into that. Like I've been on the art side for so long that like I've been always like, you know, I understand the math, but I'm like I've always been like on the outskirts of that, and I was like, all right, I need to like, how do I step up my own game? And I'm like, all right, oh, here we go. It was awesome. I was like, dude, like came around like you know, they say like, you
mean,
know, when the student is ready, the teacher appears or something. It was like,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
it's like I thought it was already existed in YouTube because I didn't find it, but then I thought it was existed, but apparently it didn't. I'm the first one to
Oh.
make it basically. Yeah.
Mm.
You are.
I mean, maybe not. I'm not sure. I mean, I can't search in the algorithm, right? But when I type Blender Math and mine is showing in the top after CG Matters videos, it's like cool.
Yeah. This is like
Yeah,
I was saying to Gabe, like there's a gap in vector displacement content on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
haven't found anyone that's actually done a proper good explanation. I mean, like people like Simon Thomas have done it in like the large, you know, streams and stuff. But
Yeah. But
there's
it's-
a gap for concise. This is what it is. This is how you use it. Like do it.
yeah. I'm actually figuring it out myself right now. Like I've been trying it for past 5 or 6 days. I mean, I have like a video plan for. I have a series of videos, but then I just kept it aside just to get familiar with vector displacement and understand what it is. And it's not that easy as I expected it is.
Yeah.
Though I know the math, I know that it's just displacing vectors to its location. Like you have to like, but then it's not that simple. When I explain, it's easy, but then while doing it's not. There's a lot of stuff going on in it, and I mean, if people wants to figure out themselves, I think the best way to do is just to like break down the tardigrade by Simon Thomas. And I kind of did it, but then I'm not exactly sure how to explain it to people. When that's what I want. Like I want to know how to explain it. Only then I think I am good at it. Does it make sense?
You are, yeah. When you can break it down, you're very good at explaining.
Yeah.
No, I'm because the stuff which is going inside my head is kind of complex to explain it outside. Basically, that's what I wanted to say. So, but then when it comes to like normal stuff which I do, like normal general displacement, it's pretty easy. It's just saying like to layer upon each other, you have to add it or subtract it or multiply it. So it's just normal math. But then vector math is a bit complex to explain. I think it'll take more time for me. But then I was talking to Gabe the other day, and he's actually planning a video where he made this crystals from a plane.
Yes.
He's doing a tutorial on that. So I hope, I think that's a really good start in the vector displacement content. Yeah.
If someone does do like a concise, this is what vector displacement is, the key focus should be on what the difference is between vector displacement and regular displacement and showing how you can get overlaps. Like in a clear, very visual way, because I think that will help it actually click with people. So yeah, that'll be interesting.
I'm still figuring it out. I don't think I can get better at it anytime soon. Maybe before November, if I could do it. On November, I can actually try doing some cool stuff with it. Probably. I'm not actually sure.
Gosh, we're almost at November again.
Yeah.
It's October in like a couple days.
What the?
I'm actually excited.
Yeah.
I'm actually excited for the content which is going to be on November.
Yeah.
I mean, Simon Thomas is going to show his node wizardry again. Luca Rude is going to show his node wizardry again. It's going to be such a great thing.
I was gonna say, let's all be honest. We can't feel bad about like feeling like the year's gone by really quickly because it's not a normal year.
It's true. It's not a normal year.
Yeah,
Definitely not.
It's a year that never happened. That's how I'm describing it.
It almost is. I mean, honestly, like I feel like I've just done nothing but work this whole year now. It's just crazy.
It's just you've seen this bit in the film before. You're just fast forwarding. Let's just get to 2021.
Exactly. It's like, oh yeah, that's that. It's a montage. I'm gonna fast forward through it.
Yep. But yeah, no,
Even
no
But it really
Blender.
helped me basically.
Yeah.
It actually helped me a lot in growing the channel, learning more stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
And because I do have my
Yeah.
education side by side, which I have to manage,
Mhm.
because I have regular classes in the morning, and right now it is like 12:30, and this is the time where I actually do my Blender stuff
Oh,
and
cool.
do some live streams on
Nice.
Charan's server.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to like actually change my schedule of sleeping and stuff, so I can sleep in the afternoon. Basically, I sleep in the afternoon, and I
That's
can
wild.
stay awake in the.
Yeah, I try to sleep, but it just doesn't happen.
But yeah, like I mean, it really helped me to concentrate more on Blender along with my studies because I can schedule my own time right now. That's the best part about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like I've really been able to tap into Blender too over these past couple months, and in addition to my full-time job, just really learn it and just experiment more with
Yeah.
it. Just having that time and not having to commute to work, being able to work from home, and then just
Yeah.
immediately sign off and jump on the work PC and just
Yeah,
have fun. It's been
that's-
nice
Yeah.
in that regard.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
having a commute has been honestly like one of the greatest things ever. Like I can manage my time so much better because I'm not sitting in, waiting on other people to move in their cars. Like it's just
Yeah.
so awesome. And
Yeah.
my commute sucked, so it's like it's so much better now. Like I hope even after COVID that this continues on, like that we can we can keep working from home for quite a bit of
Yeah.
things because
Yeah.
I don't think so. Like going to regular work, like just like before, is going to be that easy for me now.
no.
Like going to
Yeah.
school, sitting with all my friends. It's going to take some time to like get back to the stage anyway.
Man,
Yeah,
And
the
we had
workplace is
to
going to
again-
adapt now too. It's going to be different forever.
Yeah. Even though it's it's all gone, we'll still be kind of cautious. Like shaking the hands is like okay, namaskar.
Yeah.
exactly.
That's better.
Exactly. It's like I was just thinking, I was like, man, like something like shaking hands. I don't know when that's coming back for a while, man. Like I'll be like wigged out, like shaking someone else's hand. I'll be like, what else is coming now? What other new pandemic are you harboring? Like
Yeah,
don't
that
know.
gets me
It's
thinking.
weird.
Like I was shaking hands with everyone at the Blender conference in October, and
Mm.
we learned now that the thing that shall not be named was circulating earlier than people thought, and I'm like, well, like how much earlier? Because that was only like a couple of months off of like Christmas. So
I think it was
wonder-
there.
Yeah, right on the
Yeah.
border. You're just shaking hands with everyone. You're thinking, wow. In hindsight,
there were-
maybe.
There were people at work that were telling me that they were just like so sick that they like something they never felt before. It was like horrible, and they like their chest hurt and they had trouble breathing and all. And that was
Mm.
like back in like October. And I'm like, you know what? I think you probably had this.
Yeah.
Like one guy,
It just lasts for months too.
exactly. Yeah, it lasts for months. And like one guy I worked with, he was he was hospitalized back in January, and we came back from the holiday break, and he didn't come back because he was in the hospital. We're like, what happened? Turned out he had like double pneumonia or triple pneumonia,
Wow.
like in three sacs, and I almost said
Oh,
ventricles.
boy.
That's a heart. Three regions of his lungs, and we're just like, what the? He's like, yeah, it was just a virus, man. I don't know what it was. It just took me down, and we're thinking it was COVID. Oops,
Yeah.
the thing that should not be named. Edit that out. Go beep.
I think to start with, YouTube was being a bit discriminatory towards that, but then I think they relaxed it after people complained. So we're probably safe. But I mean, this channel
Yeah.
isn't even monetized, so
Not as
It's not
anyway.
even monetized right now. No, we get like
Yeah.
300 views per thing. I tried to do something about that in my last video, which is now like over half a month ago.
Hmm.
I really pitched hard at the end, but I was trying to get people here.
Yeah, this is just for the best people. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, it is for the best people. You are all the best people.
I see people really liking the longer format, and so just having it all spread out. People like say listen to
Your voice
Yeah.
is cutting out a little bit. I did understand most of that, and if I keep it
So
in,
did I.
but yeah.
I couldn't understand anything. Yeah.
just put this in the voice text chat, but yeah, my Wi-Fi is not the best right now.
Yeah, I can hear the multiplexing. I can hear it.
But yeah, I understood most of that. Yes, the longer format people do like. Yeah, I think the chapter system really brings it all together. It's nice. Like I feel better about the videos. Oh, quickly talking about COVID again. You know my long-term breathing issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a bit of an interesting development. So I was testing all sorts of like dietary things, and it's still super confusing as hell. But I'm testing like milk, as in like milk proteins, not necessarily lactose. But one thing I realized was that, because I thought there might be a connection between acid and the short breath sensation, was that there are a few meals that make it flare up, like guaranteed. And one of them had like a tomato kind of soup type sauce thing.
I was gonna say tomato, yeah.
Now I was thinking, right, maybe it's tomato that's doing it, but it's not, because I had other meals with tomato that also made me kind of regurgitate a bit, but didn't affect the breathing. So I was like,
Yeah.
wait, so it's not tomato. What's the only other factor in this? And that specific one had cream in it. So I was like, cream? So I decided to try and cut out like, chocolate, cheeses, dairy things, and things have been not perfect but better. So I'm thinking, what? So I'm testing like milk/lactose. I'm not lactose intolerant. I don't think. I don't get any of the other symptoms for that, like that people usually get. It's only like a feeling of suffocation, so short breath. And it's not like wheezing or anything. The oxygen's fine. But if that's true, then that's really weird. That after COVID came through the family, me having milk type products causes a short breath sensation. So I'm still testing that, but if I can confirm that, because I've got like a bottle of full fat milk downstairs that I haven't like drank yet, but I'm waiting until I'm feeling perfect before I take it, and then I'm going to see if that makes me feel terrible. But if that's true, then I'm going to collect all of this data that I've been collecting and like see who I can give it to, because that's not normal.
That might help people though.
Isn't this been like months back?
Yeah, I've had this for about 22 weeks now. So yeah, it was the first 10 weeks were awful, but now I can actually feel breath, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, I used to have breathing issues when I was a kid. Everything changed when my mom started like doing some more stuff to my breathing issues, like not tablets, nothing. It's just milk with turmeric and some I don't know what it's called. I think it's camphor. Yeah, camphor.
Right.
She used to like melt it and then she used to apply it on my chest.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, and because of the camphor essence, all my breathing used to be normal. Like within 2 minutes, everything used to be normal. Literally 2 minutes.
It opens everything up. Camphor does that.
Yeah,
it's a good,
and it's a good thing,
turmeric definitely helps, because that's really powerful. So that really
it's like a very good antibiotic. And then when I used to drink it along with the milk, because I can't drink turmeric alone, I used to puke. So something along with it.
I just dump it in hot water and I mix it. I'm like, I love it. But then like it's because it stains everything, right? Because it's like it makes everything orange.
It'll be there for like
orange. It's there for like a week. They're like, what happened to you? I'm like, you're drinking that turmeric tea again, weren't you? I was like, yeah. Sorry.
It's actually good, but I can chew neem leaves without anything. I can chew neem leaves like forever. I mean, I can just wash it and I can just chew it. And I think that's actually helped me with a lot of resistance power, basically.
Oh, like your
it increased my resistance. Yeah. But then I used to have a lot of issues when I was a kid, but then while growing up, everything was normal.
I love all these natural things that help. I mean, I'm not into alternate medicine or like that, but I love natural things that actually do have good benefits. So really
I love
nice. I like lavender for helping with sleep. I feel like that does work.
It totally works. Like we have a bottle of essential oils and give it to my daughter when she like gets stressed out because of this whole school thing, and she's like all chill. So amazing. It really is.
There's in this country there's like a special brew of tea that's supposed to help you sleep, and there's lavender, and I think some of them have CBD oil in them as well, and I'm like, wow, that's some advanced tea brewing you've got there.
Oh man, yeah, that whole CBD thing is that's going to be revolutionary. I think they're finding so many things about that. It's pretty wild.
I have tried it and it was impressive for me, but I do have a problem with it. So it's going to sound really fake, but when I took it for, I think, low mood and anxiety in 2019, and for some reason it immediately helped with my memory to a weird degree that I've never experienced before. Like it was suddenly remembering things from when I was a kid that I had never thought about before. Just like random flashes of me standing in front of like our old bathroom brushing my teeth and like playing around because we had like a mirror behind and in front, which I didn't even remember. I had to ask my mum, did we used to have like a mirror on the back of the thing? Because I have this vision of me like bobbing my head around, like playing with
And
it.
seeing like a million of you.
Yeah. Like I've never thought about that. I had to confirm that. I was like, wow. And that only started happening after taking CBD. And I remember waking up like really kind of euphoric and happy in the morning. But unfortunately, after a few days, I started realizing that I was having a sort of intolerance reaction to it in a similar way to how I react to tannins from teas. If you brew a tea for too long, it releases tannins. My head gets super compressed and I feel really sick. And I started having a similar reaction to that. And so I was disappointed because I thought, oh no, that was good and now I can't have it. So we'll see.
Tannins and sulfites, both.
Try it more. Maybe you can. Yeah, try it more. Maybe you can get flashes from your past life.
I'm not sure what I missed in the last 5 minutes and what I'm back to now.
Yeah,
You guys, can you hear me all right now? I just moved to a different room. So
you sound a lot better.
really
Yeah,
good.
CBD
Okay.
oil. We were talking about CBD oil.
all right. Well,
Yeah, we said I didn't know what to expect. 'Cause I took it for anxiety, but it was a really good effect. But then again, I'm quite sensitive to things anyway, especially caffeine. Man, damn. But, yeah, interesting.
Can't live without caffeine, man. I would like mainline it into my system if I
I'm
could.
I'm on decaf coffee now. I want the experience.
even that has an effect for me. I feel like, yeah,
Really?
Especially like if it's the afternoon, just going for something fully caffeinated will keep me up. So just decaf, it gives a little bit of an effect.
Yeah, I'm on that. I found that like I do get a feeling from decaf coffee, but it's not like the regular feeling where you're kind of a bit more energized, if that's the right word to use for it. It helps with my mood, and I find that lasts for like a longer time. And I'm not sure why, but I'm not complaining. So I like it.
Yeah, I love that. I love the way coffee makes me feel. What's that?
The warmth and the relaxation. It's like afternoon tea as well. Just like kind of this calming effect, puts your mind at ease. Just a moment to take a break from the day and kind of reconnect and move forward.
Yeah, it's not like an anxiety thing. It's more like I can understand things. It's like it just like opens up my brain and allows information in. It's really amazing.
Yeah.
For me, it's like recently I was like having more restless nights. So in the morning, while the class is happening, I used to sleep. So my mom was like, "Okay, take this ginger tea and drink it," and it's normal again. It's kind of relaxing for me, and I kind of feel low or like tired. Ginger tea is something which cheers me up.
Yeah, ginger.
And it's actually good for health. Yeah.
It is. We have a ginger beer here. It's non-alcoholic, but they just call it ginger beer, and it's just the most amazing thing. It has this kick, and it just feels great. A lot of sugar though, but like, yeah, it's it's amazing.
Apparently, it's really good for like travel sickness as well. I've heard.
So I hear, yeah, ginger's like settles the stomach and supposedly does a lot of good.
Yeah, it's a good digestive enzyme. I mean, it increases your digestive capability and capacity. It's actually good. It's actually really good.
That's good.
Use ginger in everything. It's going to be really good for you.
Yeah, ginger everything. I want ginger with my steak. I want ginger with my asparagus. I want ginger with my chocolate
Actually,
ginger.
Ginger might go with asparagus.
I want it in everything. I want ginger toothpaste.
Well, it's
maybe a ginger cat.
Yeah, ginger.
Yeah, exactly. Where's my cat? Oh.
Yeah. As for
like, which pets do you actually prefer? Each of you?
Which what?
Which pets?
Oh, pets.
I like. I have cats.
Yeah.
I grew up with a dog or 2 dogs, but I have cats now, and they're just easy because they take care of themselves.
Yeah, they are much easier, but dogs are always affectionate. They'll come to you whenever. It's like nice.
Yeah.
You don't have to seek them out.
It's true. They will come to you like, I love you. Hi. Where cats are like, I shall tolerate you.
Yeah.
For the next 10 minutes. Then I shall bite you to let you know I'm hungry.
Yeah. We love dogs in my family, and we're currently trying to get a new one. There's a lady we've been speaking to who has like show dogs, so that she looks after them and they're all well groomed. And she's got a mum at the moment that's pregnant, a cocker spaniel. She's in a little towel here, and
Oh, look
yeah.
at that.
We know that.
yeah.
I've seen that
So
before.
yeah, we had a cocker
What are the
spaniel
big?
for about 17 years until she passed away, and ever since then it's been a little bit too quiet.
Yeah.
So yeah, but she's only got a few weeks left, this dog, so not long until we find out what kind of pups there are, and then we're third in line, I think. So that's quite exciting. But yeah, I like dogs because their personalities are just so bubbly. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
are bubbly.
I mean, in my home, my mom and dad really don't want dogs because both go to work
Oh,
and
yeah.
no one will be there in home to take care of the dogs. But I love dogs so much.
yeah.
So in my college, there's like this 3 or 4 dogs. We have names for them. There's one with the bell, so we call it Twinkle because whenever it jumps around, we get this twinkling sound. And there
Oh,
is this one called Anubis, because it's like god level. It doesn't allow anyone to touch it, and only like few people, like me and my friends, only
Anubis.
are allowed to touch it.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
there it is, Anubis.
That's
And
so
it actually
fun.
looks like one. Yeah,
Yeah.
it actually looks like one. Yeah, and it's the most eldest dog in the whole college, so we named it Anubis. And so there I have dogs, and once this pandemic started, I don't know what was going on in my college.
Mhm.
So I came back, I felt kind of lonely, but then today, like whenever I come to Blend for the podcast, and down there are like 5 puppies, like stray
Aw.
puppies, and they love me so much. They come to me. I like good pictures of them. I sent it to Curtis previously. They're super
Oh, yeah.
cute.
Yeah, that's sweet.
It just makes
Yeah.
me like smile for a while. Like I know I have to go back to work, but I really don't want to leave them alone over there.
Yeah, they're
It's so
great.
nice.
I love dogs. They really are awesome. We have
Yeah.
like tons of them in the neighborhood, and we used to walk, people to school, and it was just the dogs everywhere. So kids got to touch the dogs and everything. But we have cats. We're happy with that.
Mm.
At some point, we'll probably get a dog. I don't know though. I grew up with them.
It's
and
much
they're
lower maintenance, because yeah, that's the one thing.
Mm.
Yeah,
You can just leave them, and they'll be fine.
yeah. Like we go like up to like the Bay Area and stuff, and we'll go up for like a few days, and I could just
Yeah.
leave the cats with like a ton of food and some water, and they're fine. A dog would be like,
Yeah.
"Where'd you go? Oh my god!"
Separation
Yeah.
anxiety.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do. They
Yeah.
do get that.
That's a problem that was on the news as well because of this whole pandemic. Everyone's been getting
Mhm.
dogs, and
Oh, yeah.
they haven't been trained to get used to people not being there. So
Ooh,
when
yeah.
everyone has to go back to work, that's a problem. And then there's also a surge of
Right.
people giving dogs back, basically, or
Ah.
putting them up for adoption because they thought, oh, this was fun, and then it's not realistic when they have to go back to work, which is a
Yeah.
shame.
Yeah.
That is a shame. Like you get a dog, it's your buddy for life.
Yeah,
Like,
like what are you doing? People need to
Yeah.
get beaten up for this.
yeah. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like I mean, horrible circumstances. Yeah, you have to get rid of the pet. That's horrible. But just to be like, oh well, this was fun. Now I got to give it back and go back to my ad agency job. It's like no,
Yeah.
no.
Thankfully for me, both my mum and me work from home, so there's 2 of us here at all times.
That's good.
Yeah, that is great.
I'm actually like planning to after my engineering. I'm not actually going to the engineering field in my jobs, but I want to do work from home, like 3D modeling courses and stuff. Planning from now on. I was discussing this with Curtis, but then if a person wants to like work from home in the 3D industry, what all things do you think they should start with? I mean, I know Curtis does YouTube. That's the first time, that's how he started. But
yeah, there's lots of like freelancing opportunities, and you can start to reach out to companies or musicians, especially. I feel like a lot of them, they're looking for people to do concert visualizations. Once stuff starts to return to normal, and there's a demand for that again, there's definitely that. Obviously, as you guys are all well aware, there's a lot of people who are looking for instruction, looking to learn. So I mean, if you just continue making courses, there's obviously an audience for that too. And then yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of opportunities to be able to work remotely, still doing 3D work. Quite a few big companies, like big animation companies, will actually license out their work, or will look for freelance companies or just individuals to help assist with animation because it's such an intensive process.
Mhm.
So I know, yeah, like I think some of like the big companies in LA, actually, they're always looking for freelancers, and they've got offices all over the world. I'm sure there's some in India. The film industry is pretty big there. I know some of the big VFX companies are based there as well,
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
the LA offices. So
That's
yeah,
right.
definitely look for some of those things. I think there's a lot of opportunities to be able to get involved that way, if you want to continue.
Yeah.
I'm mostly into this teachings. I like to teach more, like because my parents are teachers, like
Mhm.
both of them are government teachers, and I kind of like teaching because whenever I go to the schools, they're like very small young kids, and it's a regional language classes. So basically, they only learn the regional language in this college in the schools. So whenever I go, I used to teach them English because
Mhm.
I am from the English school. I mean Christian missionary school. So I used to teach a little bit of English and some other subjects like math and stuff. So I kind of like it. So I kind of wanted to continue that forever.
Mhm.
And when I was in 10th, I used to take some math classes for my classmates. And in engineering, I'm in a stage where I'm able to teach robotics to my juniors,
That's awesome.
being the secretary of the
Nice.
robotics club in my college.
Yeah.
And now Blender. And I actually took Blender as my passion, which I'm willing to turn it to my into a profession soon. So I really want to become a teacher in this field.
I think that I think the Blender, especially now, has just after 2.8 was released, it just blew up. And I started my channel on 2.79 because I was just like I found it. I knew it had a pretty wide audience. There weren't too many too many channels at the time, and it was like, all right, this will be a good fit for me. I could take it slow. And then all of a sudden, like
Yeah.
2.8 comes and it's bam! It's like, I mean, it just
Yeah.
it just lit up because it became awesome software overnight. Like overnight in one
Yeah.
release, like almost everybody who's used to using any other software was able to jump in and pretty much be able to use it because it wasn't like a right click anymore. There were like certain things that were really kind of a turnoff about the interface, and all of a sudden those are gone, and it feels like something that people are used to, and you're like everyone jumped in, and now I think because of that. That it's just grown so much that the audience has grown so much that I think it's you can at least make side income from building courses or selling add-ons or shaders or whatever. YouTube earnings are really I don't know my personal AdSense. I mean, they say don't ever discuss AdSense. I won't say a number, but it's not very high. And I think that's because we're not, like Tide and Craft and these other big companies don't want to. They're not advertising on 3D animation channels, right? But
Yeah.
but the money's there, and I think that building an audience is definitely key. I like my audience, I really do. Like the people who keep coming back and commenting on my stuff. I love these. They're awesome people. Like I'm learning like so much about them and just having conversations and just meeting new people from it. So it's just been awesome. And like connecting here on BlenderNest with you guys, it's just been like not necessarily a monetary thing, but more like a I don't know, like a human thing, like a reach out
Yeah.
thing, like like a community.
You can't really put a price on it. It's it's
Yeah.
that community. It's learning about things that you didn't know were possible with the software, with the industry, just making those
Yeah.
connections internationally. It's great.
Yeah.
I mean, who would expect that you can convert CT scans into like visualizations, right? With
Yeah.
planes,
Yeah,
just stacking up planes.
Yeah. Thank you, Ben. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And then the thing you're talking about with the shapes add-on that you're making too, like you make something and you don't know necessarily how it's going to be used, and it's just having that out there and having other people use it. You learn like, oh wow, I didn't realize that this thing I made could be used for that application, and then that teaches both you something and also the user of whatever it is something too. So it's just making this
Yeah.
connection.
This actually
and
makes me feel happy.
expand.
Actually, like recently, like I released one more like free pack, which is like a 7-segment display, and I put it for free on my Gumroad, and someone downloaded it, and they asked someone else, like he didn't know who I was, so he put up the shader, and it was like, someone made this. Could you let me know who that is? So I really want to like thank him for making this and stuff. Like it was so cool.
Oh
I
yeah.
felt so happy for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And once I got to know who he is, and someone tagged me in the comment section, so he asked us another question, and I was able to help him right after that. It's amazing.
Awesome. Yeah, it feels good too. Like in my comments, I'm always like people ask questions and I'm like, I'm like, well, it'll take me like 5 minutes to answer something that's giving somebody like 3 hours of frustration or so. I'm like, if I
Yeah.
can do 5 minutes, and like I'm lucky enough to know this stuff well enough that like in 5 minutes I can help somebody like get 3 hours of their life back. It's a great feeling.
Yeah. It's more like I don't know who would use it, but then there will be always someone who are thinking to make this from scratch and they fail. But
Yeah.
then a little bit of help actually helped them a lot.
Yeah.
It is nice actually.
Yeah, connecting with people in this community, you don't really realize how just interacting with them affects like your decision-making process as well, because
Yeah.
you'll be inspired to make, certain types of content.
Why tell everyone right now? Think about me, like one podcast that I watched made me to start a YouTube channel.
Yeah,
Who would
exactly
think
that.
about it?
Yeah.
I know.
And the next, after a few months, I'm sitting in the BlenderNest. I can't even imagine that this is happening right now. But yeah, I mean, it all just like I used to talk to people like Curtis and CG Matter here and there, and it's all the building up the relations from with each other and building up the community around us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Everything's
It's amazing.
interconnected. Like,
Yeah,
it's an
at least in
interactive.
Blender.
Yeah, I was gonna say
community.
it's an interactive community. I guess that's the way to describe it. Like,
Yeah, and everybody is nice. Everyone is nice.
Yeah,
So-
that's the best part is we don't really have a lot of like mean-spirited people here, like aside from like the trolls that we get, which is so few.
Yeah.
They stick out because they're so few. It's like the whole community is just, I don't know, it's cool. I like it, and it's growing. And guys, people like CG Matter or Ian Hubert bring in tremendous amounts of people who might not even be interested in Blender, but then they start because they see the software and they're like, this is really cool. Let me try to do that. And they'll jump from, like I think Dan Kraft, who was, he's a regular on here. He started.
Yeah.
He was telling me, he's like, I didn't even want to talk to you until I had 10,000 subscribers. I'm like, dude, like, what? Now he's got like over 100,000. He hit this vein with graphic designers, I guess, and like his, his videos like blew up. And he's like, he probably brought in like 100,000, probably like, I don't know, maybe 20,000 graphic designers who are now 3D artists and using Blender because, he did these videos on recreating logos. Like,
yeah,
it's growing tremendously, and like everyone benefits from that. So like, back to your question, can you do something with Blender, to eke out a living? I think so. I think it's starting to get to that point.
Yeah, I think you're right there. It's like it doesn't really matter what sub count you have. It's like everyone brings something to the community because it is a creative technical community. So everyone has their own path for it. And like no one's really overlapping, so there's not really any competition. And because of the way the algorithm works, everyone's content recommends everyone else's content. So you're actually more cooperative than competing, which is interesting.
I think so.
So
yeah, I used to think I was going head to head with Ducky for a while because we were like I just wanted to create these like fun videos, and then he was creating these fun videos, and then like at one point like I had actually released something, and then he contacted me. He's like, dude, I was gonna have something like very similar to that coming in like the next 2 days. So when you see it, like, don't be pissed. Like I had this, I was like, dude, there's plenty of room for both of us. He's like, oh, cool, and we were just like, we just hit it off. But like, it was so bizarre because there was only like, at a time, a few of us doing this volume of videos for a while, and then I totally like backed off because I got super busy with like lots of stuff. But I want to go back to that and just start doing like fun, like, videos again. But it was a challenge at the time. And we realized early on, the point of what I'm saying is we realized early on that like like 8 of us could do the same exact video. We could do the same exact video with slight variation, and we're not competing with each other because there's enough volume that people are going to watch all 8 of those videos.
Everybody has their own workflow, in while doing some 3D model or something. I might have a workflow. I might start with the plane, you might start with the cube. So what I think is we'll get 8 different kinds of workflow with the same concept, with the same output, which is actually good. Can actually look at it in the bigger perspective. You're learning one object, but 8 different workflows, if at all, if you ask me.
Yeah,
it's actually worthwhile. I mean, yeah.
That's actually a really good observation. Like, you're totally true. Because I think beginners too, and especially the people in the comments, they're like, did I do this wrong? I did it this way. And I'm like, and I tell them, I'm like, no. Like, what was your end result? Did you get
Yeah.
the result you wanted? Yeah. I was like, then there was no wrong way to do it. There are more efficient ways that you can do things, but
Yeah.
there's no wrong way.
Oh,
Right.
Like,
There's no
yeah,
wrong way.
this reminds
I
me.
mean,
Like, I'll just say today when I put my sculpting video up, I was like, "Oh god, it's gonna happen! It always happens." Someone always says, "What sculpting what tablet do you use?" And I say, "I don't use a tablet." And
You'd be like, I
and
use a
then-
trackpad for this. Right?
yeah, and then
Exactly.
and then here they come. Like, why don't you use a tablet? I'm like, because you don't need to use a tablet. Like, honestly, you can't.
Yeah.
I can't explain it because like as soon as I start explaining it, they just come, and I'm like, look, it's fine. Like you just do it whatever way you want. Like if you want to use a tablet, that's fine, but I'm doing it with a mouse.
Yeah, I can use a mouse and I'm fine.
I have a weird question for you, Curtis. Like,
Yeah.
did you sculpt the Lupa with mouse?
Yeah, mouse. Yeah, I do like all
Yeah.
my sculpts now with mouse and keyboard, and it's, like I think I got 2 people saying what tablet do you use, like just assuming from the very beginning that it's a tablet, and none. Like I think some people think that like as soon as you buy a tablet, it improves your skill level somewhat, and I don't want to be the one that
Really?
breaks it to them, but like
I have a tablet which is like in dust right now.
yeah.
I'm not using it anymore.
Yeah. I use it occasionally, but yeah, I find it easier. Like if you adopt a certain workflow and you can just work that way, it's why try to put
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
else in it that will just kind of not work for you as well. Get the
Yeah.
job done.
The
That's-
thing is, for me, what happened was I was like, I'm still a beginner with modeling and stuff because I literally started an year ago, like getting into Blender, learning all the tools and stuff. So I don't really produce good renders, but I think I do have like, so I wanted to basically make myself a generalist. So I tried sculpting for a while, animations, every single thing for a while. Obviously, every beginner wants to become like a pro in Blender when they actually start off with.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I got a graphic tablet, and after I got my graphic tablet, then I realized, okay, maybe I should try materials for a while. I started materials and I stick to it. I don't even know why. It just happened like that.
Yeah.
'Cause you're
And
good
after
at
that, no
It's like a
modeling.
niche, you can kind of get into it.
Yeah, it's been like 3.5 months since I modeled something properly, like from scratch. Like it's just
Yeah.
Blender battles which I do in Erin server, and some of the modeling challenges which people give me. Like, okay, you do this now. Just take a 1 hour of time. Just do it and send it to me. That's it. Or else it's just nodes. So
I think
it's
Gabe.
kind. I really want to get back to it.
Yeah, I think Gabe took a similar path. When we were speaking to him in my server, he said that he was a generalist, like most of all to start with, and then he started touching materials, and he said he just stuck with it because he found that he was good at it, and he is a bit too good at it. He's really good.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
I've been like
So
in the generalist pool for 20 years, man. And I can't get out of the generalist. I like starting a project from scratch and then seeing it through to final. It's just my thing, man. There are parts of the pipeline I like the most. I like the rush of starting because I feel like the it's like a blank canvas. The world's open, right? And then I like at the end where I never get enough time, but the lighting and rendering, shading, lighting, and rendering at the end of the pipeline. And then there's compositing, which I really enjoy the compositing part, but that's always like when the editor is screaming, when am I gonna get the frames? I'm like, all right, here's your frames. And I have an editor. We have editors now. They know After Effects really well, so they can put like I can give them like layers and they can just comp it themselves and stuff. So but it's cool, like so like the whole thing. But if I had to focus, I really like lighting. Although those are the people that really get killed at the end of those jobs, man. those guys are getting slammed. They're in crunch hell at the end of like every film. So I'm like, I don't know if I really want that part.
Yeah.
Fun. Other than your videos, I mean, on the YouTube channel, other than the videos, there's this one B render which you made like a while. I think it's a Wasp, right? I don't know which one it is. That is my favorite of everything. The depth of field, like the close-up shot. It was like the details on the Wasp or the bee. It is amazing. Like that's the only thing which I saw, like your complete workflow, or else like from start to finish, like an end project. I haven't seen many of yours, but because I couldn't find anything, it's just like on your Instagram there is one post, and I love it so much.
The Murder Hornet, I did a Murder Hornet and it was fun. I got some like a whole lot of references and a pretty poor model that I found, and then I was able to like remodel, remesh it, and then just do like a bunch of like just shading and the lighting and because I had been pushed into photography for a couple of years professionally, and I just took all the stuff that I learned in photography and just like did it. And so like if I'm doing a new reel, it's like I was saying on the server, I think I shared it somewhere. I think it might have been on Aaron's server, that this is the direction I'm going in. It's like just completely like
Yeah.
really cool looking, like photographic stuff. Cause that's kind of where my passion lies, but, it was fun, but I haven't really done any videos of like, full workflow. So that's a good idea. I probably should do that. I think it's actually
just-
Yeah.
like,
Just start from just take an object, like show the whole workflow, how you start from a plane or else
Mhm.
like any primitive to the
Yeah.
end until compositing. It might be like a long video. Trust me, people
Yeah.
are going to watch it.
cool. Yeah. I'll
Because
do that.
I think people get often stopped up and don't start Blender or just delete the software because they see the final result and it's so intimidating. It's like, how can I get to something like that? But when you walk them through, even if they're not even directly following the tutorial, just watching it, like I still find a lot of value in watching a lot of other creators' work just to see their
Oh, yeah.
process, how they approach things, how they think about problems that come up,
Yeah.
and how they work around those. I find that super valuable.
Oh yeah.
And you adapt parts of that to your own workflow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like 90% of our job as like, as animators, as visualizers or whatever you want to call us, is problem solving, because the client always has an idea in their head. You always have to like match that, but getting to that point is sometimes, especially with new clients, it's just really, really difficult. Like I'm
Yeah.
going one now, which is really they're awesome. These people are great. It's in a biological avenue, and man, it is the coolest thing. But it's like, trying to step into that industry is like, I had to brush up on a whole lot of stuff, a whole lot of science that I hadn't, really gone into since, man, college, and relearning a lot of things. It's been awesome. But like the coolest thing about what we do is that we get to see like almost a god's eye view of all the things that we're into. So like as a freelancer, you could be working in any industry and you're getting like that god's eye view of it. Where you get a lot of
Yeah.
people that are working in that industry and they're working on that one little widget, and they're like, this is the whole thing that they do like their whole career. And we get to like see all of it and how it all comes together. And that's one of the coolest parts of doing animation, is you really, especially explainer type videos, where you get to actually see the whole process and you learn from it, and it's just really
Yeah.
amazing. So you're talking to all the different subject matter experts out there, and you're learning about this stuff. So like, it's amazing, because like after certain projects, like I can talk about engineering on a level that I'm not an engineer. I wasn't trained as an engineer, but I can I can speak engineering to people because I understand it, because
Yeah.
I've had to, because if I didn't understand it, I could never produce the work. So
Yeah. I was
it's a
gonna
lot
say,
of
yeah, like
problem solving. It's a whole
Yeah,
lot.
Recently
right.
I was talking to Erin about this. Like, if at all, if you don't understand how an engineering project should end up, like you'll put hydraulics in places where it is not necessary, and
Yeah.
it would look odd, right?
Mhm.
So
And it
yeah,
really-
so it's actually good to talk to people, or else like you might find references. You might match it closely, but then you might keep wires in like unnecessary places. It might look odd. So yeah, it's actually good to talk to people who are into it and learn from them, so that next time when you do it, I think it'll always be in your head, okay, this is not what I am supposed to do. So
Yeah.
I think it's a good way to.
And that changes your workflow. Yep.
Yeah, it changes your workflow. And recently, Agnew made this video where he did this gibberish. I don't know how to pronounce that. Like it's an anime style scene.
like Studio Ghibli.
Oh, Ghibli, yeah.
Ghibli, yeah.
Yeah.
And he showed the complete workflow from zero. I mean, it's a 33 minutes long video. He
Mhm.
put a lot of work in it. And he started from the scratch, and he showed the whole workflow and creating the whole scene. I think it's actually really good. I mean, I obviously want more these kinds of videos to learn. So you might try making them too, because it doesn't have to be Blender, but then I mean, if you're using Blender, start with Blender, and you can show the whole complete workflow how you would use it, like to create a full scene.
Maybe I'll
Just
do
with
that for my
stuff
next
I've made
video.
too, I feel like the videos that I make that are longer form seem to do better. Just in terms of the comments I get, people seem to really enjoy them and learn a lot more from them, as opposed to just kind of rushing through something. Like I have a couple videos where it's more of like a time lapse, and I'll talk over it, just kind of explain from a God's eye view of what I'm doing. But when I actually go into nitty gritty and show some of the add-ons I use, kind of some of the approach I take, and how I work around things, people seem to like that a lot more because they can follow along as well and see. Because when you're watching a time lapse, you kind of sometimes get the perception that it's so easy to do. It's like a 5-minute video or something. It's like, oh wow, this will be so quick, and then you go and try to do it yourself, and it's like, wow, how did that person do it? Because this is so difficult. When you actually slow it down and show, hey, we're all human. I mean, this is a complex software we're all trying to learn. I mean, this is not super easy. There are crazy things that you have to learn to do this. It makes it a lot more approachable, and I think you can pick it up and really learn a lot more that way.
Yeah. For example, when Ben do his stuff and put up the final render, it will be like, how did you do this? But then when he explains us, like he actually streamed the whole process in Curtis server or Erin server all the time. But I mean, when we look at it, he makes it so simple to understand. Like the whole workflow, he'll be explaining every single step while he's doing. But I think if he shows the final render and if he asks us to talk about it, we couldn't even like describe it properly. I mean, I couldn't. But when he explains it once, like this is how I made it, this is how I created the material, I think that's more than enough for me to get the whole overview how he did it. It's just like the God eye perspective once the whole thing is done.
Yeah, I should really start doing tutorials on YouTube. I prefer live streams because you get that interactivity with the people you're teaching. But if I wanted to teach thousands, potentially tens of thousands of people, I would have to go to YouTube. But I find live streams easier.
Where after the live stream's over, it's made public and you can access it later. I've watched a couple tutorials. I know Midge does a lot of those as well. They're always available later to watch through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben, you need to make a tutorial channel so I can recommend you.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. I mean, your Tron stuff alone looks so good. Like, I mean, your eye, your design sense, your everything just looks good in your stuff. You should definitely do YouTube.
The thing about Ben is he starts something and he makes like all kinds of from all kinds of varieties of the same concept, and he leaves it for a while, and then he goes back to something new. And he like right now he's doing this transparent EV displacement technique, and somehow he find that we could do CT scans.
Yeah, I find that I go through phases. Like one was Tron, which I want to go back to because I want to make Tron 3. Some is like making animals with fur. That was a fun one. Robots was a big one that really upped my quality level. But yeah, now we're doing EV displacement, and I'm very happy with it.
That's cool. Are you working too, or are you freelancing, or you're just what's?
I will be working soon, prototyping products for a certain company. I probably shouldn't specify though. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. If you're definitely not under NDA or whatever, don't specify. But that's really awesome, man. I was looking at your stuff. I was like, this guy's really good. It's like you had this like thing with like jellyfish or something, and I think I even commented on Twitter. I was like, dude, I could just keep watching this forever and ever. It's like it took up like, I don't know, more time just staring at this thing, and then I lost time working. But it was good though. It was good to see.
He's always on my Reddit feed.
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning, I check my phone, I'm like, oh, there's Ben. What's going on with the day?
Which, oddly enough, I got my first commission job from Reddit. Someone saw my stuff, and they wanted a Garfield model, so I did that real quick. Yeah, so
awesome.
Keep posting your work everywhere you can, because you never know what opportunities you'll get.
Yeah. That's good advice. So it's definitely very true.
Talking about like posting stuff, like I know people did like right now it's more Twitter and Reddit and some other Blender forums. Like when you were like in your back in the days, how was it for you guys like to share your content?
Oh man, it was. You had like CG Talk. That was it. Everybody wanted to get on the first page of CG Talk. There was a forum. Other than that, it was like you had to have your own website and do SEO and get it to the top of Google. It was just like there wasn't, aside from like CG Talk and some of the big forums, there really wasn't like the social media aspect that didn't exist yet. And in some ways, I think the internet used to be a lot better before social media. But that said, social media does give you massive exposure that we've never had before. So it's been good in that way.
Yeah, it's pretty random at times though, because you just don't know what is necessarily going to work. So I think the best strategy I've had in the past couple of years of trying to grow a following is just keep making what you enjoy making, and then the audience will come if that's what it's destined to happen. And don't focus too much on the numbers. I think once you start really getting into the details and thinking like, oh, I got to post at this exact time, I got to post this exact kind of piece of content with this kind of saturation, X, Y, and Z, you really get bogged down and you lose motivation, I think, for your own work. And I've gone through phases of this before too, where you just stuff isn't performing well, I guess, online, and you just feel discouraged. And so it's better to just kind of focus on what you find to be really cool, and that really shines through in the work. I mean, talking about for Ben stuff, like it's something you're really passionate about, the audience will notice that and really kind of cheer you on in a way, I guess, and really enjoy what you're doing, and they continue to follow you or comment. You get these great interactions, and yeah, so I think that's the best advice. And I don't know which one platform has been most successful. For me, I've enjoyed Instagram a lot because I post a lot of, I guess, still images, but recently I've been trying to migrate to other things as well. I started at Twitter, but I haven't really figured out, I guess, how to use Twitter as much. So it's also like a minefield there too. There's like, if you go to the trending page, it's just so many spam comments. It's so odd, like spam bots arguing with each other. It's like
Twitter, Twitter is ground zero right now for a cyber war that's happening, and it is a war. It's a war.
I really like Twitter.
But yeah, the people also on Twitter and Reddit too. It's easier to, I feel like, share files or interact better with people. So like on Reddit, someone will link their blend file from, like, I don't know, the Blender market or something that you can go then and look through. Or it's so much easier to have that conversation, which I find to be the most helpful.
Yeah, Reddit is really cool. I try to go on there and help people sometimes. I always forget. Oh yeah, I got to go back to Reddit and do that, because I'm trying to grow Twitter, because I just, aside from the war that's happening, which I try to ignore on there, like, I do love Twitter. I think it's just a great platform to be able. I used to laugh at it, but once I got on it, I'm like, this is a great platform to connect with people.
Yeah.
And I really like Twitter, and I like well, YouTube obviously is the massive audience comes from YouTube, but the other, Instagram too. I really like Instagram, and I would love to, once I can, put the freelance stuff, or take a break from the freelance stuff that I'm doing, and work stuff and everything. I want to just do my own. Somebody had asked me if I do my own work, and I'm like, you know what? I don't do stuff for enjoyment. I'm like, I really should. So I think I'm gonna start at some point.
I mean, for me, it's like I started using Twitter once I started making material stuff. I mean, the procedural node stuff. Before that, it was only Instagram, and as James was saying before, it was like, okay, I have to post a render like within this week, so it'll be more in my portfolio. But then when I realized it's more it's more of quantity but not of quality, so I took down many of those and then only put my quality stuff which I worked for like weeks on it, and then post, which actually kind of how everyone does it, right? I mean, in the very beginning of my Blender, I mean, it's actually, I'm still new to it. So I still had this thing a while ago where I used to post like random renders. Like, it's just like 1 hour or 2 hours renders on in my Instagram, but I don't think so it's worth it. It's like Instagram is more like my portfolio than where Twitter is more like my just regular feed, where whatever I do, I just post it over there.
Like regular scenes and stuff there more.
For Twitter, you kind of design your feed for yourself, really. So what you want to see is who you follow, essentially, and the stuff that they will retweet and like and all that kind of stuff. So, but I think it's easy to lock yourself into a weird place in Twitter, because like if you see like an artist post something nice, you think, oh, I'll follow them, but you might not necessarily know that their feed consists of like 70% political posts and like, the rest is artwork. So
I have been through this.
So I've gone on a bit of a purge recently, and I'm sorry if I was following you, but I'm not anymore. But I went from like following 600 people to about 200 and something. So I've been cleaning it up a bit. But yeah, I do like it. It's a brilliant place to connect with people. Yeah, and I think like most of the Blender creators I've spoken to started off as like DMs on Twitter. So yeah,
That's awesome. It is a great
Twitter is
platform.
nice to reach people actually.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
we can see, I mean, we can post all our doubts. I mean, right now we have Discord, which I think not many people are using, like a social media. But then
Yeah.
for a community, I think Discords are really good for posting all your issues. But
Oh yeah.
I think Twitter is like for more professionally, like reaching out, actual, like asking the people who you want answers from.
Yeah.
Like
Yep. Yeah, you can get a lot of feedback on Twitter really fast, really quickly, and I really like that about it. Twitter, it's a very fast platform, and people
Yeah.
have notifications on their phones, and they just it's very easy to use. You can just go on and off Twitter in 5 minutes. It's great.
Yeah, and that
And then there's-
B3D hashtag that James mentioned, like you're guaranteed to get someone seeing your stuff.
It's a good hashtag. I like that.
Yeah.
sometimes
use it for
I
everything,
do
but-
just post. Yeah, I post my stuff without the hashtag, and I immediately delete it. And with that hashtag, I just
Yeah.
I do that a lot.
And then I guess
Basic.
there's ArtStation too, but I haven't
Yeah,
really used that all that much.
I haven't enjoyed that as much. Yeah, and that and Dribble. I use Dribble a bit for like some of my more low poly cartoon work and illustrations and stuff. And that's a pretty good community too, but it's a bit tougher to, I feel like, have that interaction. A lot of it just feels like you're building a portfolio, and then the comments that you get are like, great, nice. Whereas like you don't really have those conversations that you do on Twitter or Reddit or Discord for that matter.
Exactly.
Like constructive criticism is really important actually. Discord is really good for that. Like when I post, like I think my render is so good, but it's not. And when people actually say you can improve it a lot, and yeah, it did helps a lot. It do helps a lot.
Yeah, Discord is really great.
Yeah.
You want
Whereas
to be
in my
brutally honest with your work. If you just get these like, I guess, fluff comments, you're not going to improve as much. You need people to kind of tear you down to a certain extent, but also give you constructive criticism. And Discord, it seems like people are really open to doing that, which is great.
This is an interesting conversation we've had on the Discord, because on Discord, as a community manager, you get all kinds of personalities come through. Some people respond to that really well, like the open criticism. Some people not so well, and it's not even just like an aggressive affront, like, no, I don't like constructive criticism. Some of it's like, oh, okay, maybe this isn't for me, I'll never touch it again. So you do need to be careful. So that's why I never give constructive criticism unless it's asked for, and I kind of encourage other people not to do that. So if they say, can I have, if they say, can I have feedback? I'm like, yep.
And there's specific servers for that too. Like I'm in a couple Discords where it's like one, it's like critiques, and you go to the critique server and you post your work in progress, and you get people to give you feedback, which I find to be helpful.
Definitely. Yep. So we've got like 2 channels in my server for like sharing your work. There's a work in progress one and a finished projects one, and it's kind of unspoken that you give feedback in the work in progress, but you don't give feedback in finished projects. Like you leave it as it is. So
because I feel like nothing is ever done. It's like you're just kind of putting it out there. So there's always things you look at your work afterwards. You're like, the lighting's off a little bit there. That texture could be a little bit better. It's like, it just you navel gaze and just kind of get in your mind.
Yeah, and it also depends on the social media where you get criticism. Like if on Discord, if I get criticism, I don't think it's a big deal. But then, I mean, even though it's brutal, I'll be like, okay, fine, it's just a criticism. But when it's on Instagram, it might affect a bit more because it'll be there forever and everyone can see it.
Yeah. And it doesn't always mean that it's correct too. I mean, everyone has a different opinion, and you might disagree with it. It's just, I feel like suggestions at times, stuff that you could take if you want to your next projects. I usually kind of apply it forward if it's on a finished piece of mine. It's like, oh, that's duly noted. I'll consider that for my next renders as I go along.
Yeah. There's a lot of constructive, and then there's a lot of like just the trollish stuff, but which you don't get a lot in conversation, but you can get on like Instagram. You can get random people there. You can get random people on Twitter, and you can get random people definitely on YouTube, as we all know. But Discord is a more personal thing where you have a conversation. Like somebody just doesn't show up and then disappear forever, as they just came to troll you and they're gone, and they're just laughing at you going, what?
Discord.
So like a project file, be like, oh, you can improve this. Here's a shader I needed to help you out, or something. That's like
exactly.
You feel like there's more. You're armed with more to be able to attack your render again and make it better.
Discord's really interesting because it's not just like a one-shot engagement. Like, I think YouTube is kind of a one-shot thing. They leave a comment and that's the shot, you know. But on Discord, it's like a bit more of a flow of conversation. And I've got a really nice mod team on my server. They're really fantastic people. But it's sometimes you can tell when someone's trouble within like the first 3 messages they send. And it's not even necessarily that they've said something bad or against the rules, but it's just the way they say things. So what I do is when I realize like who these people are, I make a little note in the mod team, and it usually turns out to be a problem. Like 1 week, 1 month, 3 months later, it gets to the point where they need to be removed. But yeah, some people just have like these really trolly personalities, I should say. That they're not like bad necessarily, but they're always trying to push the rules. Like they always want to, they can't just like sit within it comfortably and be normal. They always have to see like where they can hit it. But
the contrarians,
the contrarians,
the contrarians, they're like,
The rules are good on Discord.
What's that?
I mean, the rules are really good in Discord. Like, you should not reach this. If you go above this level, you're out, or else it's fine. Be in the border.
Yeah, it's just be chill. There's a way to give to give criticism. There's a good way and a bad way, and if you know the good way, I always look for the good in something that somebody's done, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, you could probably take it in this direction and see where that goes. And always ask like, hey, what if you did this? Would that be cool? And 9 times out of 10 they do, and it gets the same thing that you wanted to say, yo, you should do that because this sucks. Like, but if you frame it in a better way, their personality's better, their ego stays in check, they're happier about their work, and they become a better artist. And then you don't look like a douche for doing it, So it's you're better off just being cool.
Yeah,
everyone's at different levels, so you want to make sure that you cater to that too, and you can often notice that immediately when you see something. So it's like it's important to not tear people down who are just obviously starting out.
Absolutely, man. You never want to tear them down because you don't.
At least
I was going to say, I've had 1 or 2 people that have been aggressively insulting to other people's work, and it's completely unnecessary. So they've been removed, and then like on 1 or 2 occasions, then I usually sit and wait for it because I know it's coming. You get rid of them, and then I check the new blood feed, which basically says who comes into the server, and I wait. And then their friend comes in. This has happened more than once. And then their friend says, why did you remove this from the server? And then I just I either silence them, or I'm like, look, this is what they broke. This is against the rules. And if it's not against our rules, it's against the Discord terms. And
It's frustrating you have to deal with that. I didn't realize it was that.
Yeah. Sometimes people come in with alt accounts as well. That's happened more than once. So I get rid of them and I'll wait. I will sit there and look at the feed and wait for it to come in. And then I say to them, you do realize that subverting bans is against Discord rules? And then they usually shut up. So
okay, I've not heard of that. It's intense. Yeah, I mean,
but that's quite rare. I mean, like, there's probably been about maybe 24 bans on the server overall, which is quite good because we got like nearly 3,000 members. So
because you made yours like a public thing on your videos, right?
Overall,
so I mean,
like the vast majority of the time, it's super chill and really well behaved. But like, I'm very iron fisted.
There's always the one. Yeah. That's good that you crack down on it quickly though, because I mean, even if it does get deleted, it still does affect you as a person if you see that that feedback.
I mean,
which is a shame. So
it's also like Curtis server is one of the most chill server which I have been, and then Aaron server is really chill, and there are like more chaotic servers. But Curtis is like he maintains it properly. Like the people who comes to his server is also like mostly like-minded, like they are chill, they take constructive criticism and then they go. It actually depends upon the content creator as well, the Discord server.
I always try and pay attention to like how people interact together on the server. I have this special role called valued contributor, and like people ask how to get it, and there's like a whole range of criteria. But one of them for me is that anyone in this high up role has generally been here for a while. I know that if there was an emergency on the server and I needed like lots of people to be aware of it, that all of these people could come together and talk to each other comfortably. So I'm always just looking for these connections. And if there's someone that comes in and like who everyone just suddenly feels uncomfortable with, even if they haven't done anything wrong, I usually take them aside and say, hey, this behavior is like not really up with expectations. But yeah, it's just I always just want to make sure everyone is like super comfortable when they're like talking together on there. So I'm quite passionate about that, but it does like lead to a little bit of friction sometimes because, as we say, with these kind of trolly personalities that always want to push the boundaries, when there's people in there that just want to share their work and just relax for a day, and then you've got these people that are always pushing it, you're like, I'm sorry, but it's just not going to work out.
Yeah.
That's been a lot of ones that are more like invite, so it's like a smaller group of people who, like, I guess maybe know each other from before, or you've had messages elsewhere and you kind of join in. So I haven't had to deal with that, I guess, level of trolliness. That's kind of insane. But yeah, it's good that you can get rid of it quickly.
I will say that the benefits of the server greatly outweigh like the stress that comes from it, because like
I believe it.
The friendships that have sort of formed around that now are like really lovely. It's just
I sometimes.
It's a really nice place just to chill, and in fact it's actually detracting from my productivity in like the nicest way possible, because when I see people in the voice chat,
just
like,
happen.
they're people I love talking to, so I'm doing my work and I'm like, oh god, like if I don't speak to them now, then I'm gonna miss out, and then I'm like, oh, damn it.
I was gonna say that, like, I get kind of overwhelmed sometimes with the messages, and I feel like I joined back in. It's like, you've 50 plus messages since you last. Like, oh my god, and so you're scrolling back through, and like it's hard to keep up with all the different servers as well. It's or channels. It's kind of overwhelming. Like, how do you guys keep up with?
There was a day, there was a day on our Discord server where everybody shared their Discord, so it was like an open invite to like everyone on the Nest. So I jumped into everyone's Discord like everyone else did, and all of a sudden my phone was like on fire. Like I actually could cook on my phone because it was just like notification after notification. I'm like, oh my god, what did I do? I'd like go in and like mute all the notifications just so I like, because it was some of those servers were so busy. But I jumped on a few, and I like it. And so when I get more time, I'll be back on, Aaron's server, probably Curtis's server, and just go and help out and just be cool, because there are a lot of great people on these servers. I mean, I've met so many cool people, and it's just it's such a great, it's a great thing. I love Discord.
Yeah.
The Blender battles seem awesome. I've been wanting to do those for a while. I just always like miss the time or something, or like I'm doing something for work, and it's like, oh no, like they seem awesome, and so I'm going to try to tune in the future to join one of those experiences myself.
Every Monday is 9 p.m. UTC.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
If it is possible, just hop in.
I spectated one of them. I had Charan here, who was nice, because I was like playing Guild Wars 2 at the same time while watching it.
Yeah.
But he was nice because he was dragging me around the channel so I could just watch in and like listen in on teams and stuff.
Yeah,
it was
I kind of just want to watch it for the first time just to see it before, like, because it just seems very intimidating, like having like a half hour. How long do you have to design?
You'll need to mute people though, because people move in between different chats, like as they discuss in private and then come back and actually do their work. But the main channel when people are working is quite big, and it's full of teams trying to talk to each other. So it's like
just like a strategy, it's just like a strategy. Like only unmute your. I mean, you can basically turn down the volume for every single user. If you don't want to listen to them, you can just simply mute them or something. So just unmute the people who are in your team so you won't get distracted. That's the whole point. But then we're also trying to make it like, you should not mute everyone, because it has to be like that.
Yeah.
Because everyone can talk and it'll be nice. It's like a competition. It's like people encouraging.
It's fun to listen to.
It is fun to listen to, actually. And that's so when Curtis was there in the server, I was like, okay, no one is going to drag him. So I had this opportunity where I can drag him to different servers, different channels. So whenever I'm going to discuss with my teammate, I'll just drag him there. So I know he's kind of playing the game, but still it's nice to have him there.
Yeah, I really liked it. It was fun.
It's awesome.
I mean, sometimes I do want to spectate, because that time when Curtis was there, I was almost not participating, but then somehow I saw a reference image. I thought, okay, we could recreate this real quick, because it's like a character modeling stuff, and I'm not a character modeler at all. So I just made the environment where the character stays. But I was almost given up. But then I thought you could suspect. What is it called? Spectate.
Yeah.
You can spectate. Yeah, I'm going to do that soon. Like if I can't do that, I know if it's out of my boundaries, I'm going to spectate.
Cool.
Yeah,
it's tomorrow.
Yeah, it is tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Nice.
I'll try to tune in and see that.
Yeah, if I can.
And all the teams are randomly generated. So
Okay.
You don't have you can't choose.
Right.
It's Steven Scott who's going to do that.
Nice.
It's going to
And what time is that at? That's at
9 p.m. UTC every Mondays.
9 p.m. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Alright.
what would that be in relation to now?
Now it's 1:30 for me now. Like half an hour before this. Most.
Right.
Half an
Okay.
hour before this.
So it would be
Yeah.
running now.
Yeah. It's 8 o'clock for you, right, Curtis?
Wait.
Now. I mean,
Well,
when the Blender battle starts.
That's what
Well,
Not
actually-
Blender battles.
actually,
like when
it-
the servers.
Because it's British summertime, I think. So technically, it's 9 for me when it starts, I believe. But yeah.
Yeah.
So you're 1:30.
9 p.m. UTC.
Sharon, you're 1:30 a.m. or 1:30 p.m. right now where you're at?
It's 2 a.m. right now.
2 a.m. Yeah. So you're 12. You're exactly 12 hours ahead of me. So
Yeah.
Wow.
okay. Yeah. I had a feeling. I was like, it's not a full day where you're at yet. It's a half day. So
Anyway,
Yeah.
this is the time which
12 hours.
I'll always be awake, so not a problem.
yeah.
I got used to this
Man, my
because
bedtime
this is the
Right.
time where you all
So I can
Which
take
is,
a lunch
this-
break tomorrow and
yeah.
jump in.
It's more like I mean, for me, I kind of got used to the time zones because I want to be awake when you people are awake, basically,
Yeah.
so I can have talks to you whenever it's possible. And most of the time, sometimes Aaron, like he's like 5 hours after me, like
Mhm.
so it's 2 for me, so it'll be around 10 for him or
Yeah.
like 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes
Curtis
he
is.
wakes up late and he sleeps soon, and I'll still be awake.
Wow.
That's how it
Yeah.
is.
it's- We have I think Markham and Pixo are the worst because they're in Australia.
Yeah.
And Markham,
So
like,
it's like
Yeah.
5 in the morning or something this time.
yeah, yeah, he does this when he jumps on, he's going to work. So he's doing BlenderNest, and then I didn't realize this for like in the first couple of times, and then he goes to work directly from here. Like,
Exhausting. Yeah.
so when he wakes up, you're like, dude, it's like, wow, and because he's all like groggy and stuff,
Yeah.
and you're like, you just realize he just woke up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
love
watched
that.
one of the ones
Yeah.
that you guys did a couple weeks ago, and I saw him join like midway through. I'm just looking completely
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah.
I love the last
Yeah.
one. It's like, it's like, hey, Malcolm, how
know.
you doing? Ugh.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, oh
Yeah.
man, oh.
Yeah.
He's the funniest guy, man. I love his sense of
He's
humor.
great.
But you
Yeah.
realize, like, wow, he's just waking up for work, and it's actually Monday morning for him, and it's still like the middle of the afternoon
right.
on a Sunday
Yeah.
for me. I'm like, this is weird, man.
Yeah.
Could you
Time zones are
imagine?
weird.
Could you imagine just hypothetical here? Like, imagine when humanity, if we don't destroy ourselves and we actually go off world, and we try to do this, like, if we can figure out like subspace communication or some way to communicate faster than light, where we're actually like doing this but on different worlds.
Yeah.
Hmm.
How crazy that would be, because the different world could have a totally different like
Time signal delay to the light speed delay. It's
Yeah.
like
exactly right.
Yeah.
So we're like 186,000 miles per second. Like,
Yeah.
isn't fast enough. Like, we're gonna get lag. So
Yeah.
could you
you'd totally
imagine?
be
like-
part of the conversation. You'd be like reacting to something that happened like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It'd be worse
Exactly.
than the
Imagine
internet
the ping.
buffering right now. It'd be like extreme buffering. Right?
Extreme
Imagine
buffering.
the ping.
I
Yeah.
know, but could you
God.
imagine like how amazing that would be though? Like, that would be completely different.
Yeah.
Like somebody in like the
Basically, I'll say
Proxima
hi.
Centauri system. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'll say
Or even
hi.
on Mars.
I'll go sleep. Tomorrow morning, I'll be back. It won't reach you.
Exactly. It's like
Yeah.
we're still waiting for the high. There was a show. What was it? Space Force, where they were doing that, and there was a lag, and they like had this like 10-minute lag or something, and they were like having a conversation, just waiting 10 minutes for like the yes to come through, and but did you do it this way? And then they wait for 10 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
no,
It's a great
it was like it
concept.
was worse than like the sloths in that Zootopia movie.
Oh yeah.
It was awesome.
Oh God. Yeah,
that would
I wanted to watch the Space Force because it's Steve Carell and Lisa Kudrow. Both
Yep.
are my favorites from Friends and Office.
Mhm.
But I didn't find time. And how was it?
It's funny. I like it. It's a funny show.
Oh.
But now we're watching, which is not a bad word, but it's the actual show title, Schitt's Creek, and it's the funniest.
That one's great. Yeah, I watched it over that as well.
Yeah.
It like swept the Emmys this year. So it, like,
It
did
swept
super
the
well.
Emmys. It got 7 Emmys or something.
Yeah.
And it was like, but I realized how it got Emmys watching this. It's like some
It's
of the
well
best writing.
written. Yeah, it's really well
Yeah.
written for all the seasons too. It carries through quite a bit. So,
Yeah, we're like on
Which
the
one is
4th
that again?
season now. Schitt's Creek, SCHITTS.
Canadian show actually.
Yeah, it was Canadian. The CDC or Canadian
CBC, yeah,
CBC. Sorry,
CBC, yeah.
CBC. It's
It's on Netflix now. Yeah, it's pretty good.
it's so funny. It's the premise is like this really rich family. They're
Everything.
they lose everything. Like one of their accountants or something just like doesn't pay taxes or something one year, and like they just lose it all. And then they discover that they bought a town called Schitt's Creek on a joke because the name was funny, and they go and they live in a motel in Schitt's. It's the funniest show.
It's great. Yeah, it's
Oh.
awesome.
It's so
This
funny.
one is epic.
Yeah, it's so well done. It's Eugene Levy, who's just
Yeah,
like, I mean, they
and
all
his
think,
son too. His son's in it as well.
yeah, his son is
yeah.
a writer, so it's Eugene, his son, and his daughter is in it too. She's Twyla.
right.
She's the
Yeah,
she's the waitress, and
so the dynamic is great between them. It's like
Yeah.
you can tell that it's just it's awesome.
it really is some of the best writing, and you can tell they all come from they come from improv. They were all Second City, and it's just the
Yeah, that's-
funniest show ever. It's like it's just so good. So we're just watching that, and it's hilarious. But Space Force is really funny, and
Nice.
it has some like real cool like stuff that you could use Blender for, and things that
Oh.
shots that you could use Blender and throw into the show, and it's just
I mean,
really
James would actually love it, I guess, because he works with NASA. I mean,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Yeah,
animation
we need to
people
watch
for
it.
space. Yeah,
Cool to see it.
Oh,
maybe,
I'm
yeah.
actually like willing to try this out. Actually,
maybe on a
Yeah, it's-
completely different subject, but I've been watching Bake Off because that started now. I don't know if anyone knows what the Great British
yeah.
Bake Off is.
I watched that for the first time a couple weeks ago. I loved it. It's like different from other cooking shows because it's so relaxing and they're all nice to each other. They can actually
Yeah.
prepare beforehand. It's not like super stressful to watch. It's like
Yeah, it's
it
really
looks yeah.
it's really
a great show.
creative as well. So
It is, yeah.
do you other
Yeah,
two
it's
know what it is? The Great British Bake Off.
I've seen it, or I've read about it,
All right,
but I
so
haven't
No.
actually seen an episode. Actually, no.
So it's a kind of challenge
Just come
show.
on.
It's an elimination one, but every episode they're given like a few different tasks to do, and they're like these super kind of complex things. It's supposed to like specific types of cakes or like other kinds of like sweet treats and whatever. It's all about baking, so they have to kind of be creative about it, and they can kind of interpret it in their own way, and then they have to present it to experts. But it's really nice and calming to watch. Yeah, like there was
that is
one.
cool.
There was one in this last episode where they had to build a celebrity out of cake. That was
Mhm.
quite funny because
Oh.
because sometimes things go wrong and then they have to like readapt. So like Freddie Mercury, someone did like a really cool kind of cartoony interpretation, but his neck went wrong, so like they have
Oh,
to like
man.
slouch him down. But
Oh,
there's a little bit of drama that happens in the show. Sometimes someone knocks something over or puts something where it shouldn't be. But I mean,
It's just such a treat to watch literally because you just see all the things that you want to eat and make yourself. So,
yeah, exactly.
I know. That was like when Cake Boss was on, and my brother lived like a block away from their bakery in Hoboken, and it just used to see all the the media and all the hype around it and the lines. Like once that show came on, the lines for that bakery were like around the block, and my brother got
Mm.
pissed because he used to go in there before the show, and then he couldn't go to his favorite bakery anymore. It was funny, but that was a funny show, and they like had to make all these different cakes. But Bake Off would be even funnier because you got people, random teams going at it.
So-
Yeah.
all these are reality shows, right? Reality shows, right?
Mhm.
Which happens in the television every week.
Mhm.
So for us, like in India, it's there is one show which my parents are watching, which it's called The Big Boss. So basically, they'll take some 10 or 15 celebrities, like popular celebrities in the region,
Uh-huh.
and they'll put them in a house, and they give them tasks to do, and they'll see how they interpret with each situation. They get angry, they cry, they do all sorts of stuff,
Yeah.
and people get to choose the persons who want to stay in the house basically by voting every week.
Mhm.
And if they don't like them, they'll be out.
That's awesome.
And it's too dramatic. It's amazing.
Nice.
It's so funny to watch, and it's actually like we might think this guy is really good. He might
Mhm.
not be. Like, what is he thinking right now? But
Yeah.
you can see like all shades of a single person in different because he has to be real, because everywhere there are cameras. He can't hide himself,
Yep.
Mm.
and
the best part.
he has to wear the mic all the time,
Oh,
except while sleeping all the time. So whatever he's going to speak is going to get recorded, and it'll be out for everyone to watch.
It sounds like a nightmare to edit as
amazing.
like an editor for that. You just have to parse through so much
Yeah.
content. That's all I
Oh,
can think of.
it's like
hours.
It's like
5 to 6 crores of voting will happen. Like 5 to 6 crores of people vote for that.
Yeah.
It's only a regional language. Basically, it's only my mother tongue. People watch it right now because it's my language and my regional language show.
Whoa.
And there are like 22 languages in India. So basically, you should understand like 6 crores of people voting
Yeah, I
for
was
one
gonna say,
particular
like,
show. It's a
yeah.
lot, right?
That-
I was like, aren't there like 30 different languages? Yeah, it's like there's a couple of unifying ones, but there's like the regional languages that, So that would be,
And
oh man.
the same show is like in the national language as well, Hindi. Like it's even huge. It's like Hindi is like the national language. Like everyone watches it in the country.
It's like,
And this is like a regional one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the voting will go like around 20 crores or something for that every week.
Wow.
Just imagine.
I could imagine just
Yeah.
the volume on that with the population would be amazing. Like that would be interesting to watch.
I think
That'd
there
be
would be
cool.
no one single editor. Like obviously there'll be like more than 2 or 3
team.
editors for that.
Yeah.
It's not like a small show anymore.
I worked on the documentary TV series before, filming like every day, and even that was just like overwhelming, the amount of content you get every single day going through. It's just like for a show like that where every single person has a microphone and camera on them.
Speaking about the editing for the show I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here that we film in Australia, that's on every day, and there's voting every single day. So you think, well, they have to record the people and do the tasks that are designed and set up for them every day. They do them, then they have to edit all that content down, send that over like, you know, the world, present that to people, and then cut to live, because after they show the edited bit, they've got to cut to live for like this voting segment. And you think, like that whole for every single day, like the whole time the show is running, you think, wow, that's a ridiculous amount of planning.
That would be insane.
Yeah.
I mean, just imagine me editing my tutorial. It's like weeks right now because I don't want to make mistakes in it, because it's like a resource for November. Like I'm collecting all wonderful resources around the community where you can learn procedural shading, and I'm trying to like make it as soon as possible before October, and it's almost done. But I kind of like just want to take some rest because I thought too much like while editing. Like how the scene should look, what font should I use. These are the minute details which takes a lot of time to decide. So and thankfully BlenderNest started, so I just hopped in.
You know, I feel
I'm gonna do it tomorrow.
I have passed my 17-day mark now. I think I'm on like day 19 since my last video. I gotta do it, but I'm so my computer's rendering. Like if I'm not like working and doing this freelance stuff, I'm rendering. So my computer's completely out of commission. So I'm like, all right, I gotta get back and just do some videos. But man, like
the editing is so hard.
It's
the scariest part for me.
Yeah.
It's not like that. It's like I learned like the first video. It took me 2 weeks because I had to learn video editing, like how to record audio editing and stuff. It took me like 2 weeks, but now I'm still not using video editing all day, right? It's just like 8 videos, so 8 times I used video editing. So I have to learn video editing. I think I should take a course on it or something. On DaVinci Resolve.
Speaking about
I use Resolve.
Oh yeah, there are a few good ones on Udemy that you can I gotta find them. But I saw a couple of good ones that'll get you up to speed in DaVinci, because I use DaVinci as well. I love it. I love Resolve.
It's good.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the workspaces which we have. It's like similar to Blender, like shading workspace. It's like cut, edit, fusion, Fairlight, which is for audio, and then export. It's just like the workflow stuff, right?
Yep.
I really love it so much.
Yeah, I learned to love it. I came from Premiere, and I used Premiere for years, and I just I loved Fusion as a compositor and a visual effects tool, and I was just like, hey, they merged it with DaVinci, and DaVinci was like this really expensive program that people used to use to finish films and stuff. I was like, this is awesome. All right, hey, so I downloaded it and just started learning it. And of course, the keyboard shortcuts are different, so I had to like remap those in my head. But other than that, I love that program.
The coloring workspace is so much better than Premiere, and just being able to go really into the nodes with that to make it look great. It's the scopes and vector scopes and everything just looks so much better. And just the UI is clean.
Oh god, I should learn DaVinci then.
Yeah, it's great.
I don't even know that there were like key maps shortcut keys. I don't even know that until you're saying.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of stuff. It's really, it's a really worth. It's a great package. Like I'm probably gonna pick up the
It's
the pro
free. I
version.
mean, like, I'm the free version right now, which I think it's more than enough
Yeah,
for my
free version's
video
already
editing process.
great to start with. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the free version's great. I'm still using the free version. I've been using it for over almost 2 years now, and I love it.
Yeah.
But I probably will pick up because I'm starting to get like more heavy freelance stuff. So I'll probably pick up the pro version because I don't want to buy Nuke, and I need like it's nice to have like 3D capability in the program itself. So I'll probably pick
Yeah.
up the Pro Fusion. But other than that, it's really awesome.
Yeah, that's
Love
one
it.
issue I have is not being able to sync up very well with After Effects. Like dynamic link is what I use a lot with my productions, where I can start an animation and then move it over to edit it better in Premiere, put the sound and everything.
Yeah, we do that at work. I have the full Adobe suite at work, and I use that there.
Yeah.
But for freelance, like I'm
Oh
loving
yeah,
this.
you want to save money. It's
I do want to save money too. I mean, I
Yeah.
live in an stupid expensive area, so it's like,
right.
if I lived out in the middle of nowhere, which is always like a tempting option, it's like, all right,
Yeah.
then I can.
I'm going open source completely, like all free softwares, Blender, and for audio editing it's Audacity, and then Resolve for free version, and then for photo editing, I mean the thumbnails, it's just Canva, the online tool, which is free.
Yes.
Canva is amazing.
Yeah.
So speaking about editing, we've been going for like 1 3/4 hours.
Oh yeah.
Oh, oh God.
So,
It's going to be hard for you.
Yeah.
But
Well, what I do
Sorry,
now
Curtis.
is I do it the very next morning, and yeah, so that tends to get out of my head, and it's strange because if I do it right after I wake up, I forget that I've done it. So like for a few days leading up to this, I was thinking, wait, did I actually edit the last BlenderNest? But yeah, I did. So I like it this way.
Thanks so much for doing that, by the way, man. Like, I definitely appreciate it.
That's right.
And,
It's so much easier now.
Awesome.
we could take turns if you want. I really want to learn video editing, please.
It's so much easier now to the point where if I delegated it to anyone else, we'd be wasting time. Like I can just
just a file transfer. I'm sure it takes some time.
Maybe you should stop it.
Speaking about stuff like how fast this year's gone, it feels strange to me that BlenderNest actually only started this year.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, yeah, that's true.
I felt like it started last year, but it wasn't. It's only like some months ago.
Yeah, we started just
January.
something like that. Yeah, it was like pre-COVID, but the thing that should not be named. And it because I remember I used to have to bring one of my kids to dance class after, and so I would have to drive out to somewhere. It was like my whole Sunday was like basically taken up, and then the thing that shall not be named hit, and now it's just like I'm here, and everything is on Zoom, and I'm like, hey, all right.
Yeah.
But it feels like it's different. It feels like that was last year, but it wasn't. You're right. It was this year.
Yeah.
It was
Also,
2020.
Jan 22nd.
January 22nd.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, Roz was right then. Yeah, we also started with the original 6 as well, and that does feel like a long time ago now. Like thinking back to those things.
It does.
Wow.
And what's weird for you, James, is the longer you spend out here in California, the more you realize like you don't even realize time goes by because you can't measure it by seasons.
Seasons, yeah, right. It's strange.
there's
This is the
sun
first
and
time
rain.
I'm not experiencing that. Right.
Yeah. You're gonna like it. You're gonna get used to it. I
I don't mind it.
I moved out of New Jersey or New York during a snowstorm, and there was like 2 feet of snow on the ground. And we were like Hudson County, New Jersey, so we're like right on the edge of New York City. And there's like it delayed my move by a day. And we came out here, and we got out here like we got into the apartment at like 1:30 in the morning or something. And I woke up the next day, and it was February, and I'm like, it was like sunny and 65 degrees out. I'm like, and there's palm trees swaying, and I'm like, this is awesome.
Relax. Yeah.
And I still like that was, I don't know, 15 years ago now, and I still wake up every morning going, yeah.
I'll tell you what, I woke up a few days ago, and I was really happy. I was strangely happy. It might sound weird to people, but I woke up and I could hear rain on my window, and I was like, yes. Like, because I haven't had this in ages. You know how I said we're in a really weird pocket, like where I live, where weather just seems to do really strange stuff. It'd been really hot for a while, and then suddenly we got rain, and I could hear it. It was really strong on the window, so I was just like, tight up in my covers, like, yes, finally.
I do like that when it rains in LA once in a while. It's nice. It's a good change.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like a totally foreign phenomenon.
Mm.
Yeah.
in India, it's like you can't really predict now, but then right now it's getting better because of the thing which we are not supposed to be named. The traffic is less, and the
Non-existent.
if the traffic is less, obviously the pollution is less. The rain is pure,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
so I can actually go to the rain without any fear of
It's like it's
acid rains
burning
and
my
stuff.
skin.
Mm.
I'm melting. What?
Yeah,
Now you go outside, you're like, it's a shower. It feels good. I like this.
yeah.
It's natural.
I'm a
Yeah.
weird person. If I was living alone, I would probably stand out in the rain a lot more. But if people caught me doing that, I'd probably look like a serial killer. Like just standing there, like, yes.
Yeah. You don't do that in London. Like there's the new Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
There he is.
I'll probably get weird stares from foxes. I think they're out like in the evenings.
Oh really?
You made one.
Oh,
Wow.
foxes. Oh yeah, do you not know much about I suppose that you wouldn't know. Yeah, we have a really weird relationship with foxes here in suburban England, especially around London, because we've grown, we've taken over their territory. They didn't die out. They've adapted. They live with people now. So they have like little homes and nests like at the back of gardens and all around park areas. So at night when the cars stop, you can see them running across the road. They come out and they make a lot of noise, and yes, some people feed them. You really shouldn't though. But
I wouldn't.
Yeah,
they'll keep coming back.
Yeah, but the noises they make. Are they like puppies? Did you say?
I mean, are they like puppies?
Well,
like the cute little one.
Yeah,
the
young ones are really cute, but the thing is,
they're
like,
feral though.
Yeah, so they're a bit straggly, they're a bit dirty. So, but yeah, but they are.
Photos the next time you see them.
Yeah,
we have coyotes here. They're like the size of big dogs.
Yeah.
So they're mangy and nasty, and they'll eat your cats if you let them outside.
Yeah, mangy is a good word. I think that applies here as well. If you're interested, go to YouTube and maybe type in something like London foxes night and just see what comes up. I'm
gonna do that.
Because
I'm gonna do that.
If you hear the sounds they make, like the first time I heard it terrified me. I was like, "What the hell? Is someone murdering a bird outside?" But
whoa!
Yeah, they have really weird sounds. But yeah,
it's like coyotes, man. When they get together in a group, they sound like a group of teenagers.
Yeah.
You're just like, what? Just shut up! And you realize you're yelling shut up to coyotes. They're not gonna listen to you. Just like
sometimes cats sounds like baby cryings,
Yeah,
it kind of freaks me out sometimes.
They do.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Every night my cats like they want food and they're like
yeah. Foxes
I feel like
I was just gonna say foxes do this really unique kind of scream when they do a very specific action, if you catch my drift.
Oh yeah.
And when I say it's a scream, it's kind of like blood curdling. It's really weird.
You should record it. That'd be fun.
Well, check YouTube. I'm sure people have.
Oh, I'm sure people have. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So
great, man.
I'll check it and I'll send it to you afterwards, Charan. Sorry, Charan wants to take a picture of my sub count when it hits 69,000. He collects.
It's 68.9k already.
He's been. I don't know why he's been collecting pictures wherever numbers hit 69. So
I honestly don't know how you're not over 100,000 yet, but YouTube works in such a strange way. I mean, your videos are such quality. I'm like, how is he not over? But it's just YouTube.
Yeah.
If they don't see you, if you're not recommended, then they don't know you're there, and they're not going to hit subscribe. So it's weird how YouTube recommends videos.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. When I put my Patreon video out, I thought, okay, well, I know this isn't going to do well, but I'll do it because it's a sacrifice. Like, I need to do it. So
absolutely.
I did it. It was the worst performing video that I've ever had, and just like, my sub growth went from like 100 every couple of days to like so I put the new one out today, a news one, and like the views have gone back up. So I'm like, yes, okay, that's fine. You got to be really careful. But yeah,
that's when I have one that bombs. I'm like, oh no, I killed my channel, but you didn't kill your channel. It's your next video can make up for it. But
yeah,
I think there is a rut. There is a rut you can get into where it's like, like Markham has seemingly like it seems like he's pulling out of a rut, but was in a rut for a little while.
Yeah.
And his videos are like funny and they're good, and like it's just like, why isn't he not getting the exposure he should be getting?
Before we
you
go,
just don't know.
I will say about him, because I've spoken to him a little bit on my server as well, because I just did some voice acting for him. I think it gets to him a little bit, but I said to him, like, you've got to stick with it, because everyone starts off not knowing exactly what they want to do, but knowing that they want to make stuff, and people will eventually kind of figure out what they enjoy and what they don't enjoy. But obviously, as you do that, you will lose some people. You will lose people anyway, but you'll lose people when you change content types. But look, there is an audience for people that like weird animation type things. In fact, there's quite a huge audience for that on YouTube. But these are people that haven't found you yet. So as you transition into that, you're going to lose the regular people. But if you stick with it, you will eventually come back up again. Like as people get used to that. So
I think he'll blow up.
Yeah, I think he'll do all right if he sticks with it. So
he's funny. People like funny. It's going to happen for him. It's just
unfortunately, it's the same with me. Like, my procedural stuff are going good, but my friend who is doing lighting and modeling, it's not doing well at all.
Yeah,
because the people who are coming for my stuff is mostly for procedural, not for modeling and lighting. But then I think we have to like make it a both channel. Like, it's just portrayed like as a procedural math channel.
This is the countdown to the end of BlenderNest now. This is the
okay.
All right. With that, it has been awesome talking to you guys again.
Yeah,
I love it. Every week I carve out this time. This is my time. It's awesome.
Really nice talking to you guys too as well. Free.
Bye, Curtis.